Lamine Yamal is not here to be liked by everyone. He is here to make history.
Enfrente la marca de Mkhitaryan, va a ingresar al área, le va a pegar de zurda de golazo!
To change the game, to mark an era. And he is doing it at just 17 years old. People say he is arrogant. That he should be more humble, that he should celebrate with less rage, speak with less confidence, dress more quietly, cut his hair, take things more seriously. But why? Why should a boy who is already the best player in the world apologise? Lamine doesn't apologise for anything. Not for his impossible dribbles, not for his genius goals, not for his attitude. He doesn't need to, because talent backs him, because his football backs him, because every time he steps onto the pitch, he proves he is different, that he is not a promise, he is a reality. In Madrid, they criticise him. He makes them uncomfortable. They can't stand that the new biggest star in world football isn't Vinicius, isn't Mbappe, it is Lamine. And they know it, and that hurts.
Alguien le tendrá que decir, mira, muchacho, por ahí no vas bien. Porque efectivamente, como muchos madridistas le decían a Ana, este chico no ha ganado nada. Tú decías una Eurocopa. Bien, a nivel de clubes, este chico no ha ganado nada, es un recién llegado.
Una Liga, una Copa del Rey, Supercopa, una Copa del Rey.
Una Supercopa y una Copa del Rey.
Hombre, con 17 años, 100 partidos oficiales y 3 títulos.
It hurts because Lamine plays with Messi's aura. But with Cristiano's killer mindset.
No es por autoconfianza, no es por nada, es porque al final tienes que confiar en ti mismo, porque si dices que va a ganar otro equipo, no sé para qué sales al campo a jugar, entonces sí, podemos ganar el triplete, somos el Barça, ya lo hemos conseguido, entonces ojalá, otra vez.
He is as irreverent as Neymar. And he has Ibrahimovic's lethal arrogance. But above all, he has something no one else has, absolute certainty that he will dominate this sport. And he is doing it. He already scores in El Clasico. He already decides Champions League matches. He already wins finals. He walks on the field with the confidence of a veteran, as if he had ruled the elite for 10 years. And that is the scariest part. This is just the beginning, because he is only 17 years old. Lamine Yamal didn't come to copy anyone. He came to inherit a throne. The throne left by the most decisive wingers in football history. The legacy of Messi, Ronaldinho, Neymar, Robben. It lives in his boots. And the most impressive thing is, he isn't even 18 yet. This boy already has 100 official matches with FC Barcelona. 100 at just 17 years old. And look at the numbers, 22 goals and 33 assists. If we compare that to Leo Messi, arguably the greatest ever, Messi had 41 goals, but only 14 assists in his first 100 games. Also, Messi had already won 4 trophies in those first 100 matches, whereas Lamine Yamal already has 3, and he could surpass Messi's trophy count before the season ends. Lamine's impact, overwhelming, and it's not just about stats, it's what he creates. It's how he shines on the big nights, how he turns games around, leaves defenders stunned, invents moves that shouldn't exist. Lamine already has 3 titles, and he's on the verge of achieving what few 17-year-olds even dream of in FIFA, a historic treble. Lamine is part of a chosen generation, but within it, he stands alone. There is no one else with his cold precision, his vision, his legendary drive. He's the continuation of Barca's DNA, but also a mutation, more direct, more aggressive, more dangerous. We haven't seen a player in a long time who can stop time with a single play. A player who, just by touching the ball, makes the whole stadium hold its breath, and when he moves, everything slows down, as if football itself kneels before him. That is what Lamine Yamal does. Can this 17-year-old be the chosen one? Can he carry the heaviest legacy of all, the one left by Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo? For years we were told the future had a name, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. But today, that story is starting to fall apart. Haaland is a killer in the box, lethal, cold, precise. But he's a finisher, not a creator. He needs his team to build the plays. Without service, he fades. Mbappe is a prodigious athlete, a lightning bolt with the ball, but his shine depends on context. He needs space, tactical freedom, open ground. He hasn't won the Champions League or a Ballon d'Or, and outside PSG he still has everything to prove. He's 26 now, and the question isn't if he will dominate the world, but whether he's wasted his chance. And in the middle of that doubt comes LAMINE, on the biggest stages, against the toughest teams. And the most impressive thing of all, LAMINE YAMAL doesn't play like a teenager. He plays like a veteran in his prime. He's 17 and he crushes the pressure. He doesn't care about the badge on the shirt, the stadium he's in, or whether it's a Classico, a semi-final, or a final. This boy doesn't tremble. He shines, and we saw it with brutal clarity in the match against Inter Milan. Barcelona was down 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, and he turned everything around. The ghost of Roma, Bayern and PSG seemed to hover over the team again. Inter imposed their style, their defence, their surgical efficiency. The game was slipping away, but then he appeared. LAMINE YAMAL, with fire in his eyes and calm on his feet. He received the ball on the right wing and took on the defence without fear. First he brushed past DiMarco, then he shook off Mkhitaryan, and when Bastoni and Acerbi stood in front of him, he unleashed a measured, pinpoint left foot shot that slipped like a whisper between giants. What a goal, an artist's goal, a genius's goal. That was the moment. The instant the world understood it wasn't hype, it wasn't exaggeration. LAMINE YAMAL is real. He is the player who can change a match with a single play. And yes, we'd only seen that before with Lionel Andrés Messi. We saw it with Messi against Bilbao.
¡Qué jugadita de Messi! Tira los 2 pases, se va de uno entre el área, vaya jugada de Messi, es el rey del fútbol, ¡qué golazo!
And again in a semi-final against Bayern Munich.
Messi se va a meter al área, puede armar lío, se metió, golazo, por Dios, me levanto y me voy, no hay más nada para ver. Damas y caballeros, apagamos todo, que se cierre la radio, se cierre la cadena, que no haya más fútbol, porque no jamás se podrá ver nada mejor que esto.
So many times we've watched Messi change a game with one action and feel a sense of magic. That same emotion is what LAMINE creates, a feeling that anything's possible with him on the pitch, and that even if the team is behind, this Barca has a sure victory because of him. Besides being the soul of Barcelona, LAMINE YAMAL is already the new spiritual and football leader of a reborn Spain. At just 17, LAMINE wasn't only called up for Euro 2024, he won it, and not as a spectator but as the absolute protagonist. La Roja touched the sky again largely thanks to his magical left foot, his precocious genius and his giant's attitude, because it wasn't just another tournament, it was the coronation of a star. From his first match he made it clear. Against Croatia he delivered a measured cross to the head of Dani Carvajal that silenced the critics.
YAMAL que tiene posibilidad de centro, le envió muy cerrado de LAMINE.
Then versus Georgia, he repeated it with a perfect assist to Fabian Ruiz that opened the scoring. Against Germany, the host nation, he threaded a pass to Dani Olmo that became the decisive play.
Vamos a ver LAMINE con Raúl, el balón de Ramón. Vuelve a marcar Dani Olmo, que tiene una llegada de segunda línea maravillosa.
And when the moment of truth came, in a tense semi-final against France, LAMINE produced a historic goal from outside the box, placing the ball in the top corner. He was 17 and he was already making Kylian Mbappé cry.
He he dicho antes de empezar el partido, hoy va a ser tu día y vas a meter gol. Hoy iba a estar un poco flojo yo, pero mejor, mi hermano ha metido gol. Ha metido gol. ¿Y qué? Séalo.
In the final against England, with Wembley as the stage and the weight of history on his shoulders, LAMINE didn't hide. On the contrary, minutes later he got the ball on the right, took on his defender, lifted his head and delivered a magical assist to Nico Williams, who finished like a true star.
LAMINE que la pone al segundo palo, Nico Williams por el remate, gol.
Spain became European champions again, and they did it with a kid as their leader, a kid who has already broken every possible Euro record, youngest to play, assist, score and win. As if that weren't enough, despite his enormous impact, LAMINE YAMAL still faces criticism. Some say he doesn't score enough goals, that he doesn't truly change things at Barca, but those voices only show how little they understand the game. Because LAMINE isn't just a provider, he's a player who transforms matches.
Decían que te faltaba gol, no sé, esta semana, primero contra Benfica y ahora este gol decisivo. ¿Qué piensas, qué dices?
Bueno, tenía claro que si marcaba iba a ser en partidos importantes, la verdad no me fijo mucho en no marcar en partidos que al final el equipo gana, el equipo me ha necesitado hoy, vamos 2-2, ha marcado el 3-2, yo creo que ha sido un gol importante, así que muy contento.
He has brilliant vision, a tactical reading that dismantles entire systems, and above all, a mind of steel.
Este año no pueden con nosotros, no gustó tanto en la capital. Bueno, a la gente que dice que igual estás demasiado crecidito y tal, ¿cuál es la respuesta de LAMINE YAMAL a todos estos comentarios?
Porque bueno, mientras gane no me pueden decir nada, cuando me ganen sí.
And that shows when the big games arrive, when the stage is massive and all eyes are on the chosen few. LAMINE always delivers. This season, he has humiliated Real Madrid in 3 straight Clásicos with goals, assists and an air of total dominance. He played a key role in the 2 trophies taken from the eternal rival, the Spanish Super Cup and the King's Cup. Team him. Against Atletico Madrid in La Liga, he wasn't just key to Barca taking the lead, he also crushed any hope Atletico had of fighting for the title.
El golpeo final, se envenena y es gol. Se ha envenenado el golpeo de LAMINE YAMAL y el gol.
In the Champions League, LAMINE wrote brilliant chapters, a stunning goal against Benfica to seal the quarter-final spot. A decisive assist in the same tie, and later a masterpiece against Borussia Dortmund that all but ended the round. And when it seemed Inter Milan would steamroll Barca in the semi-finals, when darkness, nerves and despair ruled, he showed up. At just 17, he scored the goal that ignited the comeback.
Enfrente la marca de Mkhitaryan, va a ingresar al área, le va a pegar de zurda de ¡golazo!
That strike wasn't only perfect technique, it was a battle cry from a precocious leader, the roar of football's future. LAMINE doesn't need to shout he's the best. He proves it, and he does it on every stage that matters. Even Simone Inzaghi was stunned by LAMINE YAMAL's talent.
Ci ha creato tanti problemi Yamal, che chiaramente è un talento che nascono ogni 50 anni, dei talenti così non l'avevo mai visto dal vero, l'ho visto stasera per la prima volta e ci ha creato problemi, l'abbiamo raddoppiato, triplicato, poi ci mancavano giocatori da altre parti del campo.
In fact, in that semi-final first leg, he broke Kylian Mbappe's record. Mbappe held the youngest scorer in a Champions semi-final at 18 years and 140 days, while at Monaco. Today, LAMINE YAMAL became the youngest ever, scoring at 17 years and 291 days. But LAMINE YAMAL's impact isn't just a one-season wonder. Friends, this is no passing fad. It's the confirmation of what we've known for a while. LAMINE is made of different stuff. Yes, he now has 15 goals and 24 assists for Barca, and he was decisive at Euro 2024 with 1 goal and 4 assists, becoming the youngest to score, assist, and lift the Continental Trophy. But this started much earlier. It all began on April 29th, 2023. That day, LAMINE made his official debut with Barcelona's first team, breaking an immediate record, the youngest debutant in the club's history. But beyond the stat, it was his confidence, his touch, the way he faced opponents that set off all the alarms. It wasn't just another debut, it was the arrival of something very, very special. From then on, Xavi Hernandez was crucial. He was the first to spot him and dare to give him a chance. He opened the door at Camp Nou and let the world see him, and LAMINE didn't waste it. Since then, the Egarants coach trusted him, gave him minutes, protected him and let him grow without limits. That trust was key for what came next. The next big showcase came at the 2023-24 Joan Gamper Trophy against Tottenham. Barca was stuck, slow, lifeless, until LAMINE entered. He was a whirlwind. He transformed the match completely, and within minutes had Montjuic on its feet. We hadn't seen that kind of impact in years, perhaps since Messi's unforgettable Gamper against Juventus. In that moment, the world realised he wasn't just a promise, he was a real threat. That same season, LAMINE finished with 7 goals and 9 assists. And remember the context. That Barca lacked offensive ideas, it was flat and predictable. There were no connections, no flow. In that darkness, the 16-year-old kid was the only one who could spark danger every time he touched the ball. Game after game, LAMINE built his identity, not as a media star or marketing product, but as a complete player, one who understands the game, feels it, breathes it, one who, even when the system fails, finds a way to break lines, create advantages and unbalanced defences. He quickly became the second youngest player to debut for Barca in the Champions League. He needed only 20 minutes in that tournament to show he wasn't a gem to be polished, but a precious stone ready to shine. Soon he was an undisputed starter. His 2023/24 season was insane for his age. 2,957 minutes played at just 16 years old. He was vital in the Champions League, especially in the quarter-final tie against PSG. In both legs, he was the only one who truly threatened from the right wing. His link-up with Rafinha was crucial. One of his assists nearly made it 4-2 on aggregate, which would have sent Barca to the semis. But of course, Araujo's red card completely changed the game, and PSG came back. Still, LAMINE had left his mark, and that wasn't his only big moment that season. In La Liga, he set up the winning goal against Sevilla. He scored his first official goal against Granada with a left-foot strike to level the match. In the return fixture, he did it again, this time with a brace. Against Celta de Vigo, he provided 2 assists that earned Barca 3 vital points. And versus Mallorca, he netted another match winner. In the Kings Cup quarter-finals, he carried Barca with a brilliant goal that gave hope until Nico Williams sealed the deal with his own class. But there was LAMINE, as always when the team needed him most. He wasn't just a prospect anymore, he was a game changer. Maybe not yet on the very biggest stages like now, but even in that first season it was clear. LAMINE YAMAL was made of different stuff, a winning kind of stuff, different, with a mental strength and football maturity completely abnormal for a 16-year-old. People compare LAMINE YAMAL to Messi, but also to Neymar, and it makes sense, because LAMINE seems like a hybrid of the 2 greatest wingers Barca has ever had. He has Leo's calm, his reading of the game and intelligence, but also Ney's daring, his electricity and cheek. LAMINE doesn't hide, he's brave. He always wants to take on defenders. He always wants to hurt the opponent. In today's modern, flat football, where wingers no longer dribble, no longer take risks, train to favour safe passes and tactical stability, LAMINE YAMAL has brought excitement back to the flanks. He has revived that lost magic, that feeling that whenever he touches the ball, something amazing can happen. He breaks the mould. He's a player who plays for fun, but also treats the game like chess. He can dribble, of course. He has speed, of course. But what sets him apart from many players, some older, more experienced, with more matches, is his decision-making. He knows when to speed up, when to pause, when to play short, when to take risks. And that makes him a constant threat to any defence, because he's not only unpredictable, he's also effective. He can go outside or inside. He can cross or shoot. He can assist or score. There's no way to guess what he'll do next. And that, in today's football, is pure gold. And if anyone still doubts him, here's an uncomfortable truth. LAMINE YAMAL isn't just the best young player in the world. Today, he's the best playmaker on the planet. I don't say that just for the numbers, although they're frightening, but for the precise weight of every pass he's made this season. Each assist has been a dagger, a direct strike to the heart of teams that were troubling Barca, a moment that turns the outcome of matches that seemed lost. Remember that surgical pass to Rafinha against Bayern, the assist to Ferran that sealed it against Dortmund, the 2 gems he produced against Betis in the Kings Cup, including a goal, and what about his performances against Atletico in the semi-finals, or that magical night in the final versus Real Madrid, where he assisted twice and was the team's soul. LAMINE doesn't just give assists, he creates masterpieces with his left foot, outside of the boot passes that slip between 5 defenders, through balls that seem more thought out than seen, crosses that arrive with pinpoint accuracy to the exact spot where his teammate only needs to tap it in. That kind of precision isn't trained, you're born with it. And LAMINE was born for this. Yet, sometimes it feels like the world isn't ready to see him, that not everyone understands what they have in front of their eyes, that despite his goals, his assist, his brilliant games, there are still voices that question him, that underestimate him, that call him arrogant or overrated, that don't understand we're witnessing something unique. That's the burden he carries at 17, being different, being destined to define an era. And still, there he is, silencing mouths with football, changing matches with a blessed left foot, and reminding us week after week that the future has already started. And yes, it's impossible not to talk about Messi when you talk about LAMINE YAMAL. Left-footed, same colours, same starting point on the field, same early impact. The the comparison is inevitable. And although many refuse it out of respect for Leo, the greatest of all time, the truth is what LAMINE is doing. At just 17 has no precedent since Messi. But make no mistake, LAMINE is not Messi. And that's not a criticism, it's his greatest strength. Messi was like a compact bolt of lightning, an unstoppable ball of energy. His low centre of gravity let him change direction in impossible spaces. At 18, he already had a powerful lower body, giving him brutal running speed. His physique, his anatomy, his acceleration were unique. LAMINE is different. He's taller, longer, even slimmer. He still needs to grow. And when he does, he could surpass 1.80 meters. Then we will see his true power. His game is more elastic, with longer strides. More Neymar than Messi. The way he attacks, the way he moves his legs to dribble, the feints and body swerves remind you of the best Neymar, the one who danced on the ball as if he were floating. That also makes him unique. A new model of the modern winger, a hybrid still in development. Because, of course, there's plenty to improve. His shot needs more precision. His right foot needs confidence. His running explosiveness can grow as he builds more muscle. And most important, he must stay healthy. A career like LAMINE's depends not only on talent, but on his body, his care, his environment, and his maturity in decisions both on and off the pitch. If he can sustain it, if he keeps growing, if his body holds up, if his mind stays as focused and strong, there will be no limits. But power always has a price, and for LAMINE it could be his own body, because one thing is clear. He's giving everything. This season, LAMINE YAMAL has played over 4,000 official minutes. He starts every match in every competition and rarely leaves before the 80th minute. In fact, he finishes most games. Whether it's Cup, League or Champions, this kid doesn't stop. And while that sounds epic, it's also dangerous. At Barca, there are painful precedents. Pedri, for example, was a gem run into the ground. He played every match for Barca, every match for Spain, and then spent 3 seasons fighting muscle injuries and setbacks that stunted his growth. Gavi is another case. He also piled up minutes without rest. The result? A torn ACL, a major blow to the team and a tragedy for his rising career. And recently, Jules Koundé, who was playing every game as if it were his last, got injured against Inter. His accumulated load went over the limit. The reality is Barca doesn't rotate its pillars. Hansi Flick trusts his key players blindly, and the minutes show it. Koundé, 4,423 minutes. LAMINE, 4,021. Heroic numbers, but high risk. Here lies Barca's dilemma. Yes, Flick knows what he's doing. If he believes LAMINE recovers well and doesn't need much rest, it's because he sees him every day. But if LAMINE breaks down, the entire attack collapses. Look at what happened against Celta. Without him in the lineup, they were losing. He came on at 60, and he changed the game. Assist, win, competitive spark, leadership, energy. He is the team's emotional engine. Or in the cup final against Madrid, LAMINE knew they would win, and he showed it in every look, every dribble, every play. That's the type of player who changes games with football and with mindset. That's where he joins the greats. Because Messi was like that too. He didn't just win by talent, his mindset dragged the team to success. LAMINE does the same. That's why he must be protected. He's not just the best player on the team, he's the future of FC Barcelona. And if he gets hurt, the whole project falls apart. Now, LAMINE faces a huge challenge. His name, Real Madrid. The Merengues, despite playing poorly this season, are already plotting their next era. Ancelotti is about to leave, and all signs point to Xabi Alonso taking over. The same Xabi who turned Bayer Leverkusen into a perfect football machine, a team that made history in Germany. And if Xabi Alonso arrives at Madrid, watch out, because there await Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham, and Rodrigo. 4 beasts with more than enough talent who, under a functional, attacking system, can be truly terrifying. But if anyone can carry Barca's shield against that threat, it's LAMINE YAMAL. Just as Messi did, as Ronaldinho did, as Xavi did. Barca doesn't need to spend millions on the market to compete. It never has, because it has something money can't buy: identity, magic, Masia. It has LAMINE, and history already knows it, because LAMINE has faced them 3 times, and beaten them 3 times. He scored, assisted, danced, led, and he did it without fear. The future is his, and yes, the time has come. The number 10 needs an owner worthy of its history. Ansu Fati had his moment, but his cycle is over. Not with hate, not with resentment, with respect. But Barca's 10 now has a name: LAMINE YAMAL, the chosen one. And there he is, LAMINE YAMAL, the boy who didn't ask for permission to take a seat at the table of the greats. The footballer who didn't need media campaigns or paid headlines to make history. The kid who isn't playing in a low-pressure league like France is. He's devouring Europe at just 17. Mbappe was for years the natural heir to the Ballon d'Or throne, the favourite of everyone, the child prodigy who would win it before 23. Today, at almost 27, he still hasn't. Not for lack of talent, but because he hasn't made the difference on the biggest stages when his team needed him most. LAMINE, on the other hand, is already the best playmaker on the planet. He's Barca's most decisive player. He has shone in the Champions League, in Clásicos, in finals, and he's been decisive against top opponents. Not in routine matches, not in lesser leagues, in true elite football. On the pitch, he's already closer to winning the Ballon d'Or than Kylian Mbappe, and he hasn't done it alone. Hansi Flick has been the silent architect of this transformation. The German coach has hacked Barcelona. With tactical intelligence, discipline, and without mega signings, he gave the club back an identity it had lost. He made the same players who were unrecognisable a year ago shine again. Today, Barca is a machine. It's a team. Now they are 2 games away from absolute glory. La Liga is almost won. The cup is already in the trophy cabinet. And on the horizon looms Inter Milan at the Giuseppe Meazza, a semi-final that could define this generation's destiny. But if this season has shown anything about LAMINE YAMAL, it's that with him on the pitch, with his talent, his boldness, his ambition, and his cool head, everything, absolutely everything, is possible.